Hola mi gente, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sean. This is We Are Investing, a channel that's dedicated in investing and personal finance. On today's video, we are going to show you how to paper trade on Webull. We're going to be using my mobile device, which is an Android. But if you have an iPhone, the process is going to be the same. So all we have to do is hop on over to the application and then we can get started. Now, Webull currently is running a promotion that if you use the exclusive link down below in the video description, the referral link, you will get 10 free stocks for signing up with Webull. I highly recommend it. Webull is a great brokerage and you're getting 10 free stocks valued up to $3,000. That is a deal that you just cannot beat. Now that you're at the home screen, to get to paper trading, it's really easy. All you're going to do is hit the icon on the top right. You're going to then select paper trading, and here's the screen. The default value is $1 million. And no, we did not make $6 million paper trading. You can change the amount of money that you have so that you can buy more stocks or less stocks depending on what you want to see. But the default value is $1 million. Now on this video, I'm going to show you how to trade stocks in the paper trading. I'm going to show you what you can do with the charts, what kind of buy and sell orders there are, and all of the features that are included in paper trading on Webull. Now, paper trading is probably the best step to take as a beginner. The first step that you want to take is you want to start paper trading so that you get used to the stock market. But paper trading is not only just for beginners. It's also for experts if they want to test out new strategies. Before putting real money to work, maybe you want to test out a strategy before you actually do it and it's not a good strategy and you lose hard-earned money. Paper trading allows you to do that. It allows you to test the waters, test strategies before you actually implement them with real cash. So here on the home screen for paper trading, you're going to have your positions, you're going to have open orders, you're also going to have performance. So right now we're looking at the last week and you can see that we're up $21,000 in the last week. You can also look at stock P&L and you can see that ExxonMobil over the last month is up $1,310. For all time, we're up $22,330 in ExxonMobil. And from our holdings, we also had $1,750 in dividends. Yes, if you paper trade stocks and you actually hold them through dividend dates, it's going to show those dividends as well. Paper trading is going to give you a really good idea on what your investment or trade would have done because it also includes dividends. Heading back to the home screen, the next thing that we can do is we can actually start trading stocks. Now we can only trade stocks, we cannot paper trade options. That is a functionality that maybe we get access to later, but right now you can only trade stocks, and I'm not aware of other brokerages that allow you to paper trade options. Outside of Thinkorswim, which is by TD Ameritrade, they do allow you to paper trade options on that platform. Now, if we wanted to start paper trading stocks, what we're going to do is we're going to hit that little trade button. Now we're going to look for the stock that we want to paper trade. And pretty much from here on out, everything's going to be the same as if you were to buy or sell a stock on Webull with real money. That's why it's a great way to start and to learn how to actually do it before you put your hard-earned money in the market. So let's just pick a stock. I'm going to pick a stock that everybody seems to know. We're going to do Apple because it's an easy stock to take a look at. We'll take a look at another stock in this video as well to provide you with another example because I know that Apple is going to show up bullish on technicals. And Apple is obviously such a great company. It's a blue chip stock. It acts as almost like a store of value because it has so much cash on its balance sheet. So when people start to get scared, they throw money into Apple. It's almost like throwing money into gold. The way that Apple stock behaves is very similar to a store of value. So what we're looking at right now is a chart that's probably not what you're seeing because this is a little bit different than the default. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the default. So we're going to click on lines. This is probably how your Webull looks. I'm going to show you how I personally like looking at stocks, technical analysis on Webull on the mobile device. And I'm going to tailor this towards swing trading that are swing trades that are going to last a couple weeks, a couple of months, maybe even half a year or a little bit longer. We're not going to look at really short-term trades, a couple days here or there. I want to provide an example that I think a lot of people can follow along with, because some of those shorter term trades, you need to be looking at the screen all the time. And I don't think you all have time for that. You have your own jobs. You can't be looking at the stock market all day long, and maybe you even miss a day. Well, with these longer term trades, these longer dated swing trades, it's okay. You can miss a complete day and still be okay and make money off of the trade. So we're going to look at longer dated trades, swing trades. So first and foremost, the first thing that we're going to take a look at for the technicals part of this is we are going to go back to candles, because I always look at candles. Now we're taking a look at candles, but we want to take a look at some other stuff as well. So what we're going to do to beef up this chart and give us more indicators is we're going to have to add moving averages and some indicators as well. Now to do that, we're going to hit the little graph on the bottom right of the screen, and this is going to come up. And what I want to see on the main chart to start is I want to see the moving average. I also want to see on subchart the MACD and the RSI. Now we're going to go back to the screen, and what we see with the moving averages right now of the 50-day, 100-day, and 150-day is good. Now if you wanted to change it, maybe it doesn't show up like that for you, you're going to click on the moving average on the graph. Then you're going to click on the first icon, and you're going to change your inputs to say 50-day, 100-day, 150-day. For instance, if I wanted this to be the 200-day, I would just delete that 150-day and make it 200. I don't want to do that. I'm going to keep it at the 150-day, and then I'm going to move out, and I'm going to close this. By closing that by accident, I hit that X button so it went away. I'm just going to hit that icon in the bottom right again and click on moving average. I also want to take a look at the 200-day EMA. So I'm going to click EMA, and I have it set up with the 200-day. You're going to click on that, click on the first icon, make sure it says 200-day, and that color is that greenish color. So now on the chart, you can see that I have all of my moving averages for Apple. I'm taking a look at the daily chart, which is probably the most powerful chart. We also have the MACD and the RSI, which would give us another indicator if a stock is overbought or oversold. Now with swing trades, we want to buy low and sell high. These stocks typically trade in a trend. There is some trend that the stock is following. So we want to get in on the lower end of the trend and sell at the higher end of the trend to make money on a swing trade. And because we're looking at the daily chart, each candle represents a day. So we're looking at a lot of information here. And because we're looking at the daily chart, these trades are going to take a little bit longer. They're not going to happen so fast that if we're not paying attention, we miss out or we lose money or the trade doesn't work. I don't want to put you in that situation to start, at least not to start. So what we're looking at right now and why I wanted to add these moving averages for Apple is on the daily, we can see that the 200-day EMA, we broke just below that, but for the most part, we're still above the 200-day EMA. We're definitely above the 200-day EMA, and that's acting as somewhat of a support. And now we are also above the 150-day moving average, and we are approaching the 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average as well, which could act as a resistance. And when we take a look at the candles, we can see that we've had 4 days in the green for Apple. So the stock has been going on a little bit of a run. When we take a look at the RSI right now is at 51.59, and I messed this up. I want to take a look at the MACD. When we take a look at the MACD, you can see that we're still below on the MACD, but we just crossed over. So the stock could continue to run a little bit more. It's not overbought. It wouldn't be overbought until it hits 70, and it's not oversold unless it gets under 30 on the RSI. And on the MACD, you want to get above that middle line, but you also want the yellow line to be above the green line, which just happened, and that's a bullish crossover. Even better, something else that you can do is you can draw trend lines and you can add supports and resistance to the chart. So what we're going to do first is we're going to add supports and resistance. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to click on that little button that's around 16.35% to expand this so that we can start drawing on this chart as well. And now that we're here, we can add our supports and resistance lines to start. So we're looking at the daily chart. So I'm going to add things in green because daily starts with D. D corresponds to dinero. So we're going to add things in green. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add horizontal lines to draw our resistance and support. We're going to change that to a greenish color. Now that I have that selected, we can start adding some of our resistance lines. So the first one obviously is up here. We can add another one right here at that peak. We can add another one here at this peak. We can add one at the low here. So this is a support, the most recent support right there before we had that rally, and that's at $150. What we can also do is we can draw some trend lines. So there's definitely a trend here that is worth drawing. So instead of horizontal line, now we're going to select trend line. We're going to click here. We're going to click there. We're going to try to get this trend line to go like that. So now that we have that trend line there, and we also have somewhat of a trend line at the top as well, we can draw. So we'll do this trend line here to here, and we broke through that. Actually, I don't like that, so I'm going to delete that. So now we have our support and resistance lines. We also have a trend line down here. That's the lower end for the daily. We can kind of split this a little bit better, hit off that bottom there. So now what we're looking at is something that we can work with to try to identify a point to enter as a swing trade. Now, what I also want to do is I want to take a look at a time that's a little bit more zoomed in because we've had a lot of volatility over the last month. So instead of looking at the 1-day chart, we're going to look at the 1-hour chart as well. Now, on the 1-hour chart, we can see that our next resistance would be at this peak right here. So I'm going to add a line as well, a resistance line at that point. But this is the 1-hour chart. So instead of having green for dinero, I can have, let's say, gray, H for humo, which is smoke in Spanish, and then I'll put that resistance line there as well. That would be really bullish if Apple would break through that, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's a strong resistance in the 1-hour chart. So we're probably going to bounce off of there as well. I also want to zoom out because we do have a trend here that is nice and we should draw a downward trend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the same color, but instead of horizontal line, I'm going to pick trend line. And now I'm going to pick right here for my first spot, and I'm going to draw this trend, which is kind of like this. So it looks like we broke trend, but we could bounce off of that trend as well. And we have a support here at $157.50. And that would also correspond to a moving average. Let's go back to the 1 day, 1 hour, or 1 year, 1 day. Let's go back to that. That would also kind of correspond to the 150-day moving average. So what I'm looking at right now for Apple is I want to see this stock get to $157.50 around that point, and I want to see it bounce. That would be bouncing off of that support line while also bouncing off of that trend line that we just got above. If that was to happen, then this thing would be an indicator to me, a sign of confirmation that this stock is starting to rebound and we could move higher. Now, where do I want to sell it? Well, I can sell it at $169. That's a resistance line. Or I can add another resistance line on the daily here at this point right here, which is $177. I need to change that back to green to represent the daily chart for a daily candle. And that could be a sell point as well. So I can play this a couple ways. I can get in at around $157 after it confirms that it's bouncing off of that support and it's keeping that old trend line as a support as well. And it's bouncing at around the 150-day moving average. And I can sell that at a resistance at $169 if I'm okay with those kind of gains considering the risk. And the risk here would be that prior low that we set at $150, or I can ride this to $177. So what we need to do is we need to measure the risk to reward ratio of these trades to see if it's even worth getting into. So what we can do is we can hit the little icon and we can hit measure. Now we want to start measuring some points to get to an idea of what the risk to reward ratio is for this trade. So the first point is our ideal entry, which is around $157. So we'll click on that and then we'll click down below and we can see that our support where we would stop loss out is at around a 4.34, let's call it 4.5% loss. If we were to move this up to our first resistance, which is $169, that's a 7.72%, call it 8% gain. So we're risking 4.5 to make 8%. That's not really worth it in my opinion, but maybe it's worth it for you considering that Apple is such a high quality stock. We can also use that higher end, and that is a 12.93, call it 13%. Now we're risking around 4.5 to make 13%. It's almost a 3-to-1 trade. That makes more sense to me. That's worth it from a risk to reward perspective. That's a trade that I would look to get into if I do believe that Apple can get back up to around $177 within the next couple of weeks, couple of months, depending on my timeline. And I do believe that that 150 is going to hold and it's likely for me to make money on this trade. You have to make your own decisions. I'm just walking through the steps with you here quickly on my phone. You're going to be doing this for many stocks. You're going to find things that work for you and you're going to find companies that you personally like. That's how you're going to do technical analysis on a stock. Now, if we go back to the main screen here, all of our lines are going to remain there. And because we have it color coded, it makes sense to me at least. What else you're going to look at before you enter into a stock is you're going to look at some of the information here. Primarily price to earnings, which is 26.6, and also the market cap, 2.68 trillion. Why I want you to take a look at that is because before you get into a trade, after you do the technical analysis, something really easy to do is take a look at that price to earning 27. And then type in the stock name, the ticker, macro trends, and then the price to earnings. And this is going to give you a website that's going to give you the price to earnings ratio for that stock over the last 10 plus years. So you can see the average. And if we zoom in to Apple stock and we take a look at the price to earnings ratio, you can see that Apple was below 20, hit 10 in around 2012, hit 10 again in around 2013, hit a 10 price to earnings ratio in 2016, and since then it's been higher. So this stock is trading at a multiple that is higher than its average. And you could do some more digging. Is it growing revenue faster than it was before? Why is it trading at a higher multiple? Because of that multiple, this looks like a stock from a technical standpoint that might be bullish, but on a multiple standpoint, it looks like it's overvalued based on its 10-year average for price to earnings. So with that being said, you just have to consider that. If you just want to trade off the technicals, just trade off the technicals. If you want a situation where you're looking at technicals and it's indicating it's a buy, but you also take a look at some of the other fundamentals and it's also indicating that it's a buy, so you got two reasons why you should invest or trade in this company, those are your stronger investments. So for me, on a technical standpoint, I identified an ideal trade, but from a fundamentals and a price to earnings multiple, it seems like it's a little bit overvalued to me right now. So I could probably see more downside in Apple as well. Now, let's say that we wanted to proceed with this trade. How are we actually going to do it? Well, we can hit paper trading on the bottom here, and then we can identify our entry price, which we had at $157.50. Now, there are two types of buy orders in Webull for paper trading. It's a limit and a market. Since we know what our price is, it's always going to be a limit order because it's below the market price. If you just wanted to get in at the price that it is right now, you didn't want to wait for it to drop to a price that you agree with, or you're okay buying it at the market price, then you can do a market order. You're going to enter the quantity. So you can do one, you can type it in, you can do 1/4 of your total buying power, you can do all of your buying power. We'll just do 10 for now. And then your trading hours are going to be only regular hours or extended hours, which Webull offers from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. This brokerage probably offers one of the best extended hours. This is so much better than so many other brokerages out there. We'll keep it at only regular hours, and we'll keep the time enforced today, but you can also do good till cancel. So this order will remain open until it actually gets filled. Let's actually do good to cancel, and let's change this to include extended hours. Then we're going to hit paper trade, and now we have a working order. The market is closed right now. It's above the current market price by a good amount. This order is not going to get filled, but since it's paper trading, we can just leave it out there, let it get filled, and see if it actually would work. And then when we actually do get this order filled, we can monitor this trade, see if it works out or if it doesn't work out. Now let's say that we have a position open and we want to close it. Well, to do that, it's really easy as well. We're in our paper trading section. We're just going to pick a stock, and now we can hit sell to close, or we can add more. Let's say I didn't want to hold this position any longer and I wanted to sell it all. The stock is currently trading at $2.58 in after hours, and what I can do is I can put a limit order. I'm going to put a limit order at $2.60. I'm going to have it for all of my positions. I'm going to include extended hours. I'm going to hit good till cancel, and now I have a sell order. The market's closed right now. It's late on a Friday, so this order is not going to get filled, but that's how you would sell a stock in paper trading. Now let's go over one other stock, a stock that's not as bullish as Apple on the charts, because Apple's trading above many moving averages, which a lot of stocks are not. Let's take a look at Uber. So we'll type in Uber and we'll pull up the chart. Now, if you take a look at Uber and you're looking at the daily chart right now for Uber, you can see that it's below all of its moving averages. Now, when you're below the moving averages are going to act as a resistance, right? It's going to be hard to break through them. And you want to take a look at these moving averages on the daily chart, because these are daily moving averages. And by doing that, you're actually looking at daily moving averages, which is what other traders use as well. All of these indicators, these moving averages, the RSI, the MACD, the only reason why they work is because other people use them the same way. So you can get a gauge on how sentiment is for a stock, and other traders are looking at what you're looking at as well. So for Uber, as you can see by this chart, it has been moving down, and it's definitely in a downtrend. And we can clearly define that on the daily chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit expand, and we're going to start drawing some lines here as well. I'm going to speed up the process because we did a lot for Apple. I'm not going to add a bunch of stuff, but I am going to start adding some trend lines, because it's pretty clear that this thing has been trading downwards, and it's a well-defined trend if you ask me. So there's our top line. That's going to be a resistance. We want this stock to break through that and reverse and show confirmation of a strong reversal, because a lot of analysts think that this stock is undervalued. The fundamentals seem to be really good for Uber. They're doing really good things with the company. They're making so much more money. The company is really well run. There's a lot to like here, but the chart is not something that I like. So this is something that's going to be difficult to get into a trade, but we want to identify some stuff. So we have that upper trend. We're going to draw that lower trend. And we're also going to draw some resistance lines as well, and support lines. So we definitely have a support right here. Our next resistance is going to be right here. We're going to want to break through this. So we'll draw that as well, a horizontal line right there. And if we zoom out and we take a look at Uber, what's probably going to happen with this stock moving forward? Well, this stock is probably going to retest that upper trend line. And since we're somewhere in the middle of the trend, I don't think right now is a good time to get in. But it's something to watch. For Uber, we want the stock to break above $36.38. We also want it to break above that trend line. So we want the stock to do something like this. We want it to actually go above and then also come back down. Retest this trend line and move higher. That is what I want to see. So for me, on a trade on Uber, you need to wait for confirmation on a reversal. So I wouldn't get in right now, and I wouldn't even analyze this any further. What I could do is I could set an alert so that I'm notified when Uber actually breaks through that trend. So looking at the trend, we're at something like $40. $40 a share probably puts us above that upper trend line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over $40 a share, and I'm going to hit that alert button. So price above, I'm going to hit confirm, and now I set an alert. Webull will text me when the stock gets above $40. I had it at $40.12. So when Uber hits that price, I'm going to be alerted and I can reevaluate the situation. And there you have it. That's how you paper trade on Webull. You can use different strategies. You can add other indicators as well. You can try things that you think is going to work out. I just provided some examples on this video on how I typically look at stocks and how I typically do my technical analysis. It's nothing special, it's nothing crazy, but it gets the job done. And paper trading is all about improving your skills. So I highly recommend that you paper trade. Maybe if you run out of money in your brokerage account, but you still want to see if trades are going to work out and improve yourself as a trader, then paper trade in addition to the normal trading that you do. Now, do not forget that Webull currently has that stellar promotion where you can get up to 10 stocks valued up to $3,000 by using the referral link down below in the video description. You can also sign up for a private Discord server with over 500 investors where you can ask me or other investors any questions that you might have. And also, whenever we buy or sell something, we put it in the Discord. There's a member activity channel just so we're transparent with each other. And we also learn together, grow together, and make money together. We do a lot of research together and it's a great community. You can join by joining the Patreon. A link is provided down below. Outside of that, I thank you so much for your time. Please consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell, and smashing that like button. And I'll catch you all on the next video. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. And this is We Are Investing, and together we are invincible. See ya.